And that was a beautiful song. We'll talk about it in a moment because we have a very, very special vignette. And it's going to be broadcast by Jilliana Ranicar-Breese. And it's a Your Voice Matters special vignette.
Yes, this is to dovetail in with my guest Sue Sutherland, who is a sex educator. It's a pity I didn't have her in 1960. What? 1963? I don't think you were born then, were you?
No!
Okay, it's called First Sexual Experience. I was 19 in 1963, had just left home, spurred on by my girlfriend Estelle Irving to join her in a large rented house with 2 other psychology students from Leeds in studenty bedsit Withington, Manchester. She introduced me to a young, attractive Iraqi Kurd from Baghdad called Khalid Asghar, head of the Manchester University Communist Party and in exile. Never had I met an Iraqi Kurd, nor, for that matter, ever since. Khalid was attractive, dark-featured with black wavy hair and liquid brown eyes, plus a winning, charming smile. About 26, he was gentle, polite, open, and romantic. I had not come across foreign boys before, coming from the leafy suburbs of provincial Liverpool. We were platonic friends for a short while, as I was still a virgin. Jewish and Muslim, what an interesting combination. I had had a heavy petting experience when I was 16 with my then boyfriend, market trader, wide boy Cliff Adlard. I remember wearing my pink and red striped polypeck dress that night, taking extra special care not to get telltale blood on it. The van with ladders on top was parked outside my parents' home in respectable middle-class Childwell. My father was not pleased that a large van was parked outside. What would the neighbours think and say? I had no sexual education as to what sex was all about, despite my mother being a chemist. I thought Cliff was having an epileptic fit when he came, and I asked him if he was all right. This was the era when no sex education was given at home or at school. No books or discussions. How did one find out in the 1950s and 60s, pre-pill? An era of necking and petting on the back row of the Odeon cinema, a parked car, or perhaps getting a telltale love bite to show your mates. The hard way was through trial and error. But back to Khalid. We were having supper in the university canteen when he looked me in the eyes and touched my light brown hair, cascading, whispering, "Tonight is the night." I nodded silently, knowing what he meant. Well, it was time to discover what sex was about. I was 19 after all. He would, I thought, be my mentor. In silence, holding hands, we went to his tidy student room, already prepared to seduce me. Dim lighting and candles ready to be lit. I don't recall washing or undressing, just a low, creaky bed and him getting on top of me after a little bit of kissing. Was it French kissing? I don't think so. Mouth to mouth, lips to lips, no erotic art in that. No foreplay, no caressing my trembling body. He just got on top of me and stuck it in. It was over in a flash, and I remember thinking, that's it? How boring! What's all the fuss about? I raced off afterwards, mumbling some excuse, as there was no intimate conversation or discussion about our experience. No questions asked like, was it good for you? No, it wasn't. I recall going home on top of the bus up the Palatine Road back to dreary Withington, convinced the students opposite knew what I'd done. Silently, on the screen of my mind, I repeated, I'm not a virgin anymore. I immediately ditched poor Khaled and only saw him once a year later in Manchester after he'd moved away to Bedford, working as a civil engineer. He said he remembered me well because I was funny in bed. I don't know what he meant, I never asked him. Or should have had you around.